Morning, everyone. Jeff Koppel, Realtor, General Contractor. I tell you what, this last month, I've definitely had some interesting transactions in my real estate closings that I've had. The latest one, basically, the seller of the home, a few years ago when he bought the home, he actually used a down payment assistance program that was available at the time to basically, it was available to first responders, police officers, people like that. And he was eligible for that particular program. So he went ahead and signed up for it. Okay, the promissory note that came with that was basically what we refer to as a silent second. In other words, it was a zero interest loan that in this particular case, it was forgivable if the user of that loan did not refinance or resell their property for a 3-year period. So the situation on this transaction was the seller actually sold their house 3 days or 3 years and 1 day after they initially got the purchase loan. So in that case, they basically qualified. They had the home in their ownership for 3 years, satisfying the requirements of the promissory note. So what happened is basically the lender now is saying, well, no, we can't refund you any money because we quoted a payoff that included the silent second, and now we can't refund anything. Well, okay, without really getting into an argument, I basically said, it looks like you're just talking to the wrong people, the people that don't have the authority to make a decision. I said, tell you what, there's one thing that we can do to see if we can avoid litigation, because everything is correct. I mean, we basically have the closing document from the new sale transaction proving that he, closed a day after the expiration of the 3-day period that was required for the forgivable second mortgage. So anyway, before he contacted a real estate lawyer and tried to pursue this, I said, why don't we go ahead and look into legislation that's already in place, and maybe just by quoting that to the lender, they will get us to the proper area and you'll get your refund without having to contact the lawyer. So what I did, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you. And to give you a little background, back in 2008, I don't know if a lot of you folks that may not have been in the business might not know about this, but of course we had a foreclosure problem with real estate loans that were made in the previous, say, 3 years between, say, 2005 and 2007, early 2008. The qualifications for a lot of those loans were pretty lax, and so as a result, a lot of them were, defaulting, going into foreclosure. So the government took the stance that it must be because the consumer didn't really understand what they were getting into. So in response to that, they formed a new set of laws that was formerly known as the Dodd-Frank legislation, which Dodd and Frank were the two, government officials that sponsored the bill. So, and outcome of that, I know I've talked about it in other previous videos. The legislation part of Dodd-Frank is what is referred to as Regulation Z, or a lot of us in the industry will just refer to it as Reg Z. And that basically specifies all the different things that, lenders have to adhere to now after the Dodd-Frank legislation's been put into law. So what I did to help my client, pursue the lender to see if they can get that money refunded to them, I went ahead and I referred to the Regulation Z legislation, and I will share my screen with you now to show the exact subsection that I referred them to. Now, bear in mind, since this is existing legislation, I'm just directing them to it. I'm not really giving them legal advice. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not in a position where I can give them legal advice, but I can refer them to existing legislation to help them with their argument and see if we can settle this without, involvement of any lawyers or anything. So the particular article I referred them to was Title 12, Chapter 10, Part 1026, Subpart B, subsection 1026.11, and in particular, subsection A and then other subsection 2 under that. And you see I've got it highlighted here. Basically, with any credit balances, in other words, any balance in excess of $1 that's remains on an account after account termination, in this case, payoff of a mortgage loan. If we look underneath item 2 here, refund of any remaining credit balance within 7 business days from the receipt of a written request from the consumer. So basically what I did is I gave my client this information and basically told them to draft a letter to their lender, specifying, the situation behind their request. In other words, what transpired, what supporting documents. So I told them, go ahead and send a copy of the original, promissory note that you signed for that. It was a hero loan is what they refer to it as. And that basically shows the maturity date of that loan, which would show that they're in compliance with owning the home for 3 years without reselling it or refinancing it. And then I told them to go ahead and send the closing documentation from the sale of their home, which again proves that they held it for 3 years and a day. So they were in compliance with the promissory note that was drafted back when they bought the house. So hopefully this will allow them to solve this issue that they've got with the lender. And, they'll be able to solve it without having to contact a real estate attorney to help them through it. But basically, here it is in black and white that if you're ever in a situation where your lender is not refunding you money, you can refer them to this legislation of Dodd-Frank. And, a lot of times the servicing people that you talk to, like when you call into your lender, they're basically, help desk type folks. And they may not be as familiar with all the laws that say the underwriters of the loan are. And so a lot of times you just kind of have to refer to, where it states that they have to perform certain activities within a certain time frame, like we've done here. So anyway, like I said, the last month I've had some interesting transactions come up that normally don't come up. So I just thought it'd be really good material for me to make some videos for y'all to kind of learn a few things. And again, if you guys have ideas for videos, please send them to jeffkoppel@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to make a video for you as soon as time allows. And if you need a realtor that has been also a construction owner for the last 23 plus years, and I've been a real estate investor myself since 2008, and I've been a realtor for a while now too, I would be happy to talk with you and help you buy or sell a house. So anyway, thanks again for watching the video, and tune in for more, and please keep those video ideas coming in. Talk to you soon.